Do you have to quit smoking for health reasons? Has something happened to you or your health that's now leading you down the path that you've got to quit? Or a doctor has told you that if you don't quit, likely you're going to develop health issues like COPD or cancer? Do you need to basically find a way to quit and you don't really want to and you're not motivated to? So in this video, I'm going to go through the 3 things that you need. In fact, I'm going to count down from number 3 to the number 1 thing you need to be motivated to quit smoking for life and to stay quit and be successful. The first thing that is really, really important to understand before we just hop right into the content and take you through those top 3 ways to be motivated to quit smoking, you just need to understand one thing. There's really 2 things that are required, and they're interrelated, but they're not equally important, and that is motivation and discipline. You actually need both to quit smoking. And here's the key difference. Motivation is doing something when you want to. Discipline is doing something when you don't want to. The truth is, to really quit, you really need to be disciplined. But there is a catch. To be disciplined and to be disciplined properly, you need to be properly motivated first. Motivation is the linchpin. It might not be the thing that gets you to actually quit, but it's the thing that's going to allow you to be disciplined and to be successful. So we really need to understand what are the basic elements of motivation for quitting smoking, and what do they need to be, and what do we need to realize, and how do we actually build a base with which to be successfully disciplined to quit smoking and stay quit. So let's hop right in and go through the 3 things, counting down from number 3 to number 1, that you need to be properly motivated to quit smoking for life. At number 3, acceptance. And I don't just mean everyday average acceptance. What I really mean is letting go of your ego. And in particular, letting go that you know how to quit smoking. You don't know how to quit smoking. If you did, you wouldn't be watching this video. Essentially, you need to start to turn off or turn down your ego like you actually know how to quit. You don't. You literally don't. In fact, one of the key concepts in science that we discover is the more we know about something, the more we realize we really don't know. And we just end up with a whole lot more questions every time we get an answer, literally. And this is no different for you. The more that you get into quitting and how to quit, the more you realize you really don't know how to do it. And that's a really, really important thing. And that is the base of actually having a successful quit, is realizing you don't actually know. You don't know how to quit. Because if you did, you would have already done it. If this was just a matter of your willpower in doing the cold turkey method would work. Is the least successful method of any quit smoking method ever, with the highest rate of failure. It just doesn't work. So we need to come to acceptance and understand we just don't know. And the truth is, 95% of people that actually do quit for a year or longer do so with the aid of a paid program. That is just reality. So accept that you don't know how to quit, accept that likely you're going to need help, and start to seek and search out that help. The second thing you need to be properly motivated to quit smoking is be creative about why to. Here's what I mean by that. The way that our brain is designed, it's designed to be judgmental. We're judgment machines. Why? Because it keeps us safe. It's just Darwinian evolution. We judge everything. We're constantly judging. And so what happens is when we're trying to quit smoking and find our motivation, we get creative about why something won't work. That is not conducive to a successful quit attempt. You need to be creative about why to quit and why it will work. And here's how it works. Our brain is very much like a plane on autopilot. When a plane is on autopilot, it doesn't go straight from point A to point B because the earth is curved. It's constantly going off track. So the plane is on course, it goes off track. When it goes off track by a certain percentage, the autopilot kicks in, puts it back on track. This is exactly how our mind works. We say to ourselves, I want to quit smoking, and I'm going to learn how to quit smoking, and I'm going to do A, B, and C, and then we're motivated, and then our brain starts to go off track and get creative about why not to, or why it's not going to work, or why we're not going to be successful. We have to allow that autopilot to kick on and put ourselves back on track. That means being creative about why to quit, why it is going to work. So that is so huge in motivation. We need to realize and understand when our brain starts going off track and catch it and put it right back on track. And this really comes down to a really simple concept. It's really about how do we feed our own thoughts, our own internal dialogue. So let me tell you a story to illustrate how important this is. This is a story of an Aboriginal grandfather and his grandson. And they were out one day and playing games. And the grandfather looks a little despondent during a break in the game. And the grandson says, "Granddad, why do you look so sad? What's wrong?" And the grandfather looks at his grandson and says, "Son, I have two wolves fighting inside of me. A good wolf and a bad wolf." The grandson says, "Oh, well, Granddad, which one will win?" And the grandfather looks back at his grandson and says, "The one I feed the most." This is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to being motivated to quit smoking and about being creative about why to. You have to understand that your brain is going to want to be creative about why not to. And it really comes down to which one are you going to feed the most. Both are going to exist, and that's okay. But just realize one is serving you and one is not. So that's the second most important thing that you need to be properly motivated to quit smoking, especially if you have health issues. You need to be creative about why to. The number one thing you need to be motivated to quit smoking is action. It sounds so simple, but it is so hard. Why? Because whenever we quit smoking, there is an element of fear. What if this doesn't work? What if I fail again? And just like we said in tip number 2, there's all these reasons why not to. This is kind of tied into that, but you have to take action. And it almost doesn't matter what action. Here is why. The very act of action in and of itself will help you to get to where you're going. So I'm going to give you 2 examples. Example number 1, the first thing is, it's like getting on a diving board as a 5-year-old and you've never been on a diving board before. Now you're only 3 feet away from the water, but you're on that edge of the diving board, and that 3 feet might as well be 30 feet, right? You still have to jump. You still have to take action, or you're never going to get in the pool. You're never going to jump off the diving board. You're never going to quit. You have to take some kind of action. At some point, you need to stop learning about how to quit smoking, and you just need to take some form of action towards quitting smoking. Taking a course, doing a program, anything, but take action. So that's the first concept, is you have to jump. There's a second piece. The second piece of this that you really need to understand is you just need to do something, and it doesn't need to be something big. It's often the little thing that you do that leads you to be successful with quitting smoking. And the chances are you're not even really going to know what that thing is or what that linchpin is. In fact, if you wait to figure out what the linchpin is for you to quit smoking, you've missed the whole point of this video. You need to just take action. So I'm going to tell you another story that illustrates this very well. There's a famous Scottish climber named Sir Edmund Hillary, famous for climbing the Himalayas. And when Sir Edmund Hillary looked back on all of his success on climbing mountains that no human had ever climbed before, in particular when he climbed Everest, and he looked back on that successful attempt to actually climb Everest and be successful at it, and he thought back, what was the one thing, what was the linchpin that led to my success? Do you know what he says the linchpin was to his success? It was buying the train ticket. It was the act, that little act of committing himself to just getting there that led to his successful attempt to summit Everest. It's the little thing. It's the little piece of action that you did not foresee. It might be that not going into the store to buy the package of cigarette. It's the little thing that is going to get you over the edge. So let's just summarize these really quickly. 1, turn off your ego. You don't know how to quit. You're never going to know everything. There's always people that are smarter than you. and you just don't know. So that's the first thing, is just let go of your ego and realize that you're likely going to need help, and likely from the aid of a paid program. 2, be creative about why to. Feed your creativity why to be successful. And number 1, remember, you have to take action. The most important thing is to take action. And I don't mean big action. It is likely going to be some little action. Those are the 3 things you need to be successfully motivated to be able to have discipline. Let go of your ego, be creative about why to, and take action. Just jump off the diving board. Thank you very much for your time and attention. If there are other things that motivated you, put them in the comment section below. Let other people know. I've also put in the description below a link to a free 15-minute phone consultation with me. Take advantage of it. It's just conversational. We will just have a conversation. I'll get you on the right track to quitting smoking. Please subscribe to this channel. It helps me continue to make great free content to help you quit smoking for the rest of your life. Thank you for your time and attention, and I'll talk to you soon.